Megan is suing 1501 Certified Entertainment, her first record label, or the label that signed her initially, because they are having disputes over what a mixtape and album is. So, Coop and I have talked about this subject before, how convoluted that albums and mixtapes are in today's hip hop atmosphere. What's a mixtape in hip hop, and what is an album in hip hop? So anyway, the lawsuit is defined over here. It says the new lawsuit against 1500 Certified Entertainment addresses whether last year's Something for the Hotties counts towards her contractual fulfillment. Megan Thee Stallion is headed back to court when the Houston-based rapper Megan Ruth Pete filed a new lawsuit against the record label. I'll get to the other page of it. A new lawsuit against the record label, all right, 1505 Certified Entertainment, over the question of what constitutes as an album in her contract and what concerns last year's Something for the Hotties, which classified as mixtape. The lawsuit document responds to the letter 1501 Certified sent Pete out of the blue in January, alleging that last October, Something for the Hotties, a compilation consisting of various freestyles from her YouTube channel, along with the single Thought Shit and other tracks, did not count as an album for purpose for fulfilling her record contract. In the lawsuit, Pete alleges that the contract's only criteria for defining an album is that at least it has to be 45 minutes long, and Something for the Hotties fulfills that. In fact, it's exactly 45 minutes and 2 seconds long. She should have made it 46 minutes. The lawsuit reads, given that the 1501 waiting more than 2 months after Pete's release and the album Something for the Hotties to take this position, it's clear that it's in a position of frivolous and has no basis on law or fact. And continues, Pete can only speculate that the reasons why 1501 is taking this new position, but extending results in action is clear. 1501 wants Pete down to release more albums under the contract to financially benefit their company. We'll break this down in 1 second because there's a lot to take from here. This is not the first time that the artist has struggled with her label. The documents in the new lawsuit begin to allege that over the past 2 years, Megan and 1500 shared a long, torturous history and disputes with each other concerning Pete's record agreement. They allege that after signing her contract in February of 2018, Pete realized that her terms as originally written were entitled to one-sided favor 1501. All right, listen, let's dial back. Okay, the whole thing is that the label is sitting here saying, no, that's a mixtape. No, that's an album, while Megan is saying that's a mixtape. And I found the part that was interesting in this article is where it said, where is it? It's right here. In the lawsuit, Megan alleges that the contract's only criteria for defining an album is that it has to at least be 45 minutes long. The Something for the Hotties fulfills that in the fact that it's exactly 45 minutes and 2 seconds long. Okay, who defines what an album is and what a mixtape is in hip hop? I knew we were gonna run into this problem.
You want to know what's crazy, Mike? Is that I feel like for the first half of the time that we've been doing this show, like my prophecy's been coming to life, and then the second half of the time, it's like your prophecy has been coming to life, because you have literally spoken to this specifically, and we have argued, and like we have gotten it in on multiple occasions, like about this one subject matter. And you told me, you were like, hey, Coop, this is going to be a problem at some point. And I'm like, nah, we just got to keep it in the streets. Like, that's just the rap purist in me. But you're right, it's becoming a problem. We're going to have to identify and subgenre it.
What is a mixtape and what is an album? Because I think the lines start getting blurred when, people who did it great.
The money start getting low.
I think we've seen, since we've been doing According to Hip Hop and even doing this show, I've seen Section 80 by Kendrick Lamar turn from a mixtape qualification to now you look it up, they consider it to be an album.
Told you it was a mixtape
That is a problem. When you can't.
When I went back to Cali, when I was in Cali, they was like, "Cool, you heard that Kendrick Lamar Section 80 mixtape." That was in Cali. I was in Cali. I was there. It had just dropped. I pulled up. I was in LA.
I feel you. But this is my thing.
The homies called it a mixtape. That's what the homies called it.
This is my thing, man. And I've always said this, even when people refer to that as a mixtape and Crit was his a mixtape, if it's all original music, that's an album.
Correct.
I'm sorry. And let's stop blurring the lines. If it's all original music, all original compositions, you got original beats on here. You're not rhyming over like All About the Benjamins or whatever the hot beat is at the time. And you got original concepts, you got original bars, you got original hooks.
Very popular.
That's an album. No matter what they tell you. Because if you want to sit there and label it a mixtape, and then the label comes in there for whatever reason and says, no, we want to consider this an album. Or let's just say, because they've been doing this with Drake too. It's like, okay, no, this is a playlist. Or this is a mixtape, or this is an album. How does that play with your contract? Let's just say I signed you to a contract as an artist, right?
That's what it is. There it is.
Yeah. Let's just say I signed you as, as an artist to let's just say a 4-album deal, right? I think that's about standard, 3 or 4 album deal. You putting out music. And I want to keep you in the contract, and I say, you know what? This is a mixtape. This ain't an album.
What am I gonna say?
Huh?
What am I gonna say?
Who could say anything? This is what their dispute is. Somebody says it's a mixtape. Somebody says it's an album. If albums and mixtapes don't have clear definitions, and I sign you to a 4-album deal, and you're making what are albums, and I say no, that's a mixtape. We're going to take this to court. How is the judge going to be able to define anything?
I'm going to say got myself my Uzi and my brother a 9. That's what I'm going to say. But
I mean, because I know the definition used to be, okay, the mixtapes are free and the albums are for sale. Well, now everything's free. So.
Ain't nothing for free.
Well, I mean, streaming-wise, you know what I'm saying? Everything's pretty much free for the most part. Yeah, I think that Chance the Rapper, where it looked like he was doing groundbreaking things, it kind of convoluted the space a little bit more because now you have mixtapes that were nominated for Grammys.
Hold on. Can we just pause? How innovative and creative is he now? Or is he just self-serving? And was it just like, kind of jumped through the hoop right quick and got what he could get out of it, and then what's the effect in the fabric that's left from what he did? Because it was a real whole thing.
I don't think that we've seen any fruit bear from the trees that they say that Chance the Rapper.
I'm not signed to anybody, and it's the best thing ever. It's like, okay, so you're right. How did that yield fruit for those that came after you? You know what I'm saying?
Nothing. I mean, to be perfectly honest, and I say this respectfully, I don't want to sound like bashing Chance, but sounds like he just sold a bunch of hats and did very well for himself. But I don't think that there's anything that he broke down, because one of the things that was problematic about Chance was he had the opportunity to sit down and really break down game when Joe Budden was asking him some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't giving clear, transparent answers. He was basically saying things like anybody could call up Apple and get an exclusive deal or get this stuff showcased. That's not the truth.
Right. And you want to know, here's why he was saying that too. It happened so fast, he really didn't know why it was happening even to him, so he really didn't have a valid explanation.
Oh, I think he knew everything that was happening to him. He just wasn't going to be upfront about it, just like he wasn't going to be upfront about the fact that his father was close with the Obamas and Mayor Emanuel in Chicago. He never really disclosed that stuff.
That's the part that's very problematic.
So it's like, and again, I think that when you're an artist, that's the difference between an artist and an entertainer. We don't ask everybody to be transparent, but honestly, as we talked about with the cow, with Conway, it helps when people are transparent. And it makes it where you hit people on a different
Like,
level.
yes, people like to know
Entertainers
who
are the
they're
ones that
dealing
aren't
with.
transparent. We don't know anything about Beyonce. She's not
Right.
going to tell us anything. She's
People
an
like to know who they're
entertainer.
dealing with. People like to know who they're dealing with. People like to know who they're dealing with.
Well, true artists like to express to their fans who they're dealing with.
How about this? Like, somebody just sung the national anthem, I believe, at like a very famous event. And I've met that person before. And somebody texted me and was like, oh, such and such is singing national anthem. And I was like, because I've met them. I know what their behavior is like, like when the mic's not plugged up. And so it's like, nah, you can keep all that. It's the transparency of it. Because for him, he was like, oh, I didn't know that. And it's like, I didn't even tell him anything. It was just like just me being like, he kind of already knew. I was like, yeah, that's one of those people,
Well, I mean,
like,
I will say this for artists.
You can stop for the camera all you want. I'm going to start airing people out on here because I done ran into so many of these people. I got so many stories I can tell. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, people out here are not safe. I'm not the one.
Well, I don't know how fair that is. Like, you know what I mean? It's like artists are expected to be on 100% of the time.
I don't know. Just don't be a fucking asshole. That'd be the thing about it. Like
I feel
it ain't even you don't got to be a superstar entertainer, but what you need not be is like certain things in a negative connotation: a jerk, an asshole, a narcissist, a commander of attention when you're already getting all the attention anyway. It's like, how are you going to command attention when you're already getting all the attention anyway? It's like, what more do you want?
Well, another thing that I like from that Kanye documentary too is you get to see how some of these artists were treating him before he got big. And it's very interesting to see who was cool and who wasn't cool. Like I told you, man, the only people, and I've seen episode 2 now, the only people that I could tell truly believed in what he was doing and truly organically liked what he was doing and wasn't trying to be all on some I'm up here, you're down here shit was Mos Def and Pharrell. That's it. And Dame Dash also was like, look, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I seen him, I was like, whatever. He a producer trying to get some beats. I mean, we trying to get some beats. He said he could rap, whatever. I didn't take him serious. But when I really listened to him, I got it. Now, I will give Dame that. Dame was honest about the fact that he didn't see it at first. It took a lot of legwork on Kanye's end for him to see it. But after he saw it, he was behind it. But other than that, everybody else was on some Hollywood shit.
So hold on. So imagine this. If Kanye is already in the circle enough that he can bring his music to and around these people, and they are treating him this way,
right?
How do you think they treat the average person when they walk up to them? Hello.
That's a fair point.
And that's why I'm saying it's just like, no, ain't nobody safe with me because it's like, Mike, I think everybody knows me well enough to know now. It's like, no, I done said something. Some of these people done acted that way around me.
Well, you know what? And back to the Megan thing. I'm interested to see where this case is going to go, and I'm going to keep an eye on it because, again, it seems like these labels are defining what a mixtape and album is on their own in contracts. And the only thing that they had in that contract was it has to be 45 minutes or more. I mean, I think any mixtape's more than 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
very manipulative.
I don't know. But again, I don't want to say blame the artist, but yeah, I mean, I think the artist needed to be a lot more defined in the culture.
Yeah, there we go. What's the solution?
The solution is we have to, I think it's too late now. I think it's too late to actually fix parameters for what a mixtape and album is. The courts are going to decide now. That's where it's at.
See, that's the problem. No. We're not letting them decide anything. See, that's
we're there now.
It's very problematic.
We're there now because we never did it. It's the one thing that I hate I think we're such creative people when it comes to actually creating things from the ground. But what we don't do is when we create, we don't handle all of those things that we need to handle so shit doesn't get awry. At this point, it's too late for us to go back and define what a mixtape and album is. The courts are going to do it now.
Ooh, do you know how much potential like money and revenue is laying in arrears because of that though? Think about this: if certain classifications change, like how about this? Like what's a compilation album now?
Exactly. Good question. Because some could say that Hitler Wears Hermes 8 is a compilation album, right?
Hey, what about QB's Finest? What about the Funk Master Flex tapes? What about all those Re-Up Gang mixtapes? What about all those Locks mixtapes? What about all those Fab mixtapes? Like what are they? Are they albums that belong to labels now? You feel what I'm saying?
You know what? It's interesting you brought up Fabulous. Those soul tapes are albums.
Okay.
And you know what? And they're not albums, but they are. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, those should have been albums that should have been put out by Def Jam, whoever. Somebody got over, and I think initially the artists felt like they were getting over because they were able to have music out there, do shows on them, get probably sell the mixtapes in the streets. But now the labels have caught up. And now when you're entering in a new contract,
the labels ain't caught up. Like they just greedy. They just
of course,
greedy.
they're gonna get their money.
They like I want you to understand the way rule number 4080. Record company people are shady.
Listen, you're not going to beat the house. I learned that. You learned that in Vegas. You can play these games all you want, but you're not going to beat the house. You're not going to cash out on the record labels, Coop. It's just not going to happen.
Not. So I want people to understand this is not some Illuminati or conspiracy claim or theory that I'm about to put down. People sit back in rooms and decide and figure out ways that they are going to pimp these artists out more and take more money from them. It is not some imaginary thing that doesn't exist. This right now going on is evidence to the fact of what is going on in the back room in the mic. You said limitization. I'm going to say pimpization of this. You feel what I'm saying? This is proof positive of the pimpization that is going on in the industry. Because Mike, first it was like, you want to know what? We just want to take 80 to 90 cents and leave you with 10, 20 cents and you run and work with that. Okay. And then it turned to is like, well, you want to know what? We'll give you a 50-50 deal, but you got to pay back this money that we front and And then it goes, you want to know what? We want your show money. You know what I'm saying? We want your stream money. And now it's like, you want to know what? That mixtape, that belonged to us. That's not a mixtape.
Let's keep it all the way real, Coop. Who wants the relationship more? Do the artists want the relationship with the labels more? Or do the labels want the relationship with the artists more? You coming to the labels, tap dancing for deals and jumping on the tables and doing whatever you got to do to get them to give you a contract. What do you expect? You expect to get a fair shake? Like what do you expect? These people go out their way to want to be a part of these institutions. So you think they're gonna give you a fair shake?
So I'm about to say something. I know some people don't like it. The way sometimes that us as young artists go into record labels and audition is very auction block-like to me. And I don't like it. And so to that, I say, I'm just not a fan of how that whole dynamic works anyway, because quite frankly, the way it really should work is that if you're going to make more money off me than I'm going to make off me, the least that you can do is come looking for me instead of me going into an office and tap dancing. But a lot of us don't understand that shit.
There's no respect there.
There is no respect there. But we disrespect ourselves in that process.
I mean, and I'll say this respectfully, right?
I don't. It's an auction block.
We artists are treated like groupies in those situations. Like, look, what are you gonna do to be down with the crew? You want to be backstage. What you gonna do to do that? And that's the same thing with the artists. It's like, look, you want to be put in this position where I can make you the biggest star out here and you win these awards, you make your mom proud. What are you going to sign to do that? And you know what? And they'll pull one of those TLCs on you where it's like, look, if you don't sign this, I'll just find somebody else. Like the first, I think Chili was the replacement for, one of the original members. She said, look, I'm going to have my lawyer go look over this. She's like, if you leave, I'll just replace you. And she did that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, management that is. But, I mean, it is what it is. And so, unless you're meeting them on a level playing field, I mean, I don't think you could expect to get any type of level dealings with any major record label. So, it's part of it. I think Lil Duval said this. He was like, all these artists complaining about their records not coming out or whatever. You signed up for this. They told you. If they would have told you everything that was about to happen, you would have signed it anyway. Let's keep it real.
Well, grass not always greener.
No,
see,
it's all about what you want out of this.
See, you thought you were stepping onto this, like, you thought they rolled out the red carpet for you and that it was glitter and gold and there was champagne wishes and caviar dreams. And then you stepped on stage and they stripped it down and you found out you were just like your ancestors on an auction block.
I mean, but there's been generations of artists that have told other artists that that's what it was going to be like, and they signed anyway.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Mike, not to get into it too heavy, I got offered deals. I didn't sign a lot about my manhood, about a lot of different things. Mike, I told you about them conversations I was having with artists who are already signed. It was like, yo, Coop, like, if you go to that party, you're going to get signed way, way faster. But you also got to, like, go back home and, like, be a man to your family. So, like, you got to start reconciling certain things if you're going to go to that party. We don't go to those parties, Coop. You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, it's never that serious for me, man, but to each his own,
Right, it was never that serious. That's why I didn't get my ass in those parties or get on that tour bus. You feel me? Right.
Yeah.
When